Call Halam Yalai, Yahweh Shem Al Shai, by Shem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of GMS who rule well and teach well, and Shalom to all you brothers and sisters that's out there doing this work, pushing to wake up the hopeful elect, and so we can get up out of here. So I'm going through Press TV, and I seen this article that came out in September. All right, it's about genetically modified mosquitoes, man. All right. So there's genetically modified food, there's genetically modified air that you're breathing in, and now there's genetically modified bugs. All right, this is the doings of the so-called white man. All right, Esau Edom. Okay, he cannot keep his hands off the things that the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai made to keep the earth clean. All right, so let's jump into this article. All right. After a field experiment between 2013 and 2015, all right, let's look at what a field experiment is. Field experiments, like lab experiments, randomly assign subjects to either treatment or control groups in order to test claims of casual relationships. All right, that was an example. All right, field experiments are done in the everyday, i.e. real life environment of the participants. The experimenter still manipulates the independent variable, but it's in a real life setting, so cannot really control extraneous variables. An example is the Hofing's hospital study on obedience. All right, you can go into that, but this is just what a field experiment is. All right, genetically modified mosquitoes are breeding in Brazil, while according to researchers' original plan, all released mosquitoes and the offspring should have died. So that's what they saying. They all should have died, but we know that ain't true. An attempt to contain the population of yellow fever mosquitoes. All right, I don't know how to say this word, Aedes aegypti. All right, let's look that up, but I'm gonna finish the sentence. In Brazil may have failed. So in order to contain those, when they try to contain those mosquitoes, it failed. All right, here we go. Yellow fever mosquito. All right, Aedes aegypti, the yellow fever mosquito, is a mosquito that can spread dung fever, chikungunya, Zika fever, malaria, and yellow fever viruses and other disease agents. So these diseases that's coming about, they're genetically modified diseases by the genetically modified mosquitoes that Esau Edom is pushing out through his plan for world dominance, basically. All right. The mosquito can be recognized by markings on his legs and a marking in the form of a lari on the upper surface of his thorax. All right. So here you go, man. These genetically modified mosquitoes are poisoning your children, they're poisoning you, and they're poisoning your family and your wives, okay? All right, and you motherfuckers want to stay in America. You motherfuckers want to stay in this world. Y'all batshit crazy, man. It appears that gene mutations have been transferred to the local population. All right, so there you go, man. This is how all those diseases are spread. The British company Oxitec have released about 450,000 male mosquitoes every week in the city of Jacobina in the Bahia region with official permission over the period of 27 weeks. All right, so let's do the math on that. 450,000 mosquitoes times 27. Let's do the math on that, man. So they released 450,000 mosquitoes over 27 weeks. That's 12,150,000 mosquitoes that they released. So of course there's going to be a spread of those mosquitoes through repopulation of the mosquitoes, and of course there are individuals that's going to be plagued with these diseases. All right, the experiment was designed to control the infectious disease dengue, Zika, and yellow fever. But how is that when those mosquitoes that we just read, that those mosquitoes are the ones that are giving out the disease? The gene modification called OX 51 513 alpha in the mosquito was designed in such a way that the first descended generation of the mosquito, known as F1, would not reach adult stage and thus not be able to reproduce. Mosquito population collapsed during the trial period. All right, the hope of the Ministry of Health was to reduce mosquito populations by 90%, and this worked well during the field trial. About 18 months after the end of the experiment, the mosquito population returned to what it had been before. The gene modification of the released mosquitoes also produced a fluorescent protein that made it possible to distinguish the first F1 generation from the other mosquitoes. All right, researchers at Yale University have examined the mosquitoes found in the region for their genetic alteration 1 year after the release, as well as 27 to 30 months after the release. They came to the conclusion that parts of the gene alteration had unexpectedly migrated into the target population of the large mosquitoes. What you think is going to happen if you mix something that you genetically modified with something that's naturally made? They're gonna mingle together. All right, it's just like you making cake batter. All right, you put some flour or some milk in a bowl and you mix it together, and it's gonna mingle together and become one. But these devils already know this stuff. Gene modification was passed on in different samples. 10 and 60% of the mosquitoes carry corresponding changes in the genome. The study was published in Nature Scientific Reports on September 10. And if the field trial had taken place originally as predicted, the gene modification would not have been allowed to migrate into mosquito populations, but because the offspring of the mosquitoes originally released would not have been able to reproduce. However, it was already known from previous laboratory experiments that a small portion of these 3 to 4% of OX 513 alpha descendants can reach adulthood. The scientists had assumed that those would be too weak to reproduce. So these devils already know what they're doing, man. They already know what they're doing. The authors of the study found that the GM genetically modified mosquitoes were equally suitable as carriers of infectious diseases as the mosquitoes were before the experiment. All right, let me read that again. The authors of the study found that the genetically modified mosquitoes were equally suitable as carriers of infectious diseases as the mosquitoes were before the experiment. So they already knew that these mosquitoes was going to carry infectious diseases. All right, they were equally suitable as carriers, so they could carry the diseases as well that they implanted in these mosquitoes. All right. All right, I don't care about the critics. All right, I'm gonna just read it anyway and close it out. All right, I ain't got no scriptures. I could find some though, but this is just a point to show that you know who you're dealing with, man. All right, the devil knows what he's doing. The Yale research team around Jeffrey Powell warned that the newly formed mosquito population could possibly be more robust than the mosquitoes were before. The author concludes these results demonstrate the importance of having in place genetic monitoring program during release of transgenic organisms to detect unanticipated consequences. Biologists critical of genetic engineering go one step further with their criticism among the Brazilian biologist Jose Ferreira, The release of the mosquitoes was carried out hastily without any points having been clarified. There you go. That's what the devil does, man. He wants to hurry and poison you. All right. He wants to hurry and poison you through the food, through the air, and now through these genetically modified mosquitoes. What else do we know that's probably genetically modified, man? Aside from you now, because you eat all this genetically modified food, you breathe in all this genetically modified air. And who knows, man, you probably been bitten by one of these genetically modified mosquitoes. All right, the Munich-based research laboratory Test Biotech, which is critical of genetic engineering, accuses Oxitec, all right, that's the British company, of having started the field trial without sufficient studies. All right, Oxitec's trial have led to a largely uncontrolled situation. CEO Christoph then told the German press agency DPA this incident must have consequences for further employment of genetic engineering, he demands. So they want to get more people jobs, all right, for further genetic engineering because they messed up, all right. And they admit that it's a largely uncontrolled situation. Yeah, if you releasing basically 12,015,000, I think that's what the number was. Yep, 12,150,000 mosquitoes into the population. Of course, there's going to be a problem. Of course, why wouldn't there be a problem? All right. The field trial in Brazil did not use the conventional gene-driven mode, all right, in which mosquitoes are given a very assertive gene that is always dominant during reproduction. Researchers who experiment with gene-driven and gene drive in strictly isolated laboratories hope to eventually use the method to permanently eradicate entire mosquito populations. However, such experiments cannot be reversed and have therefore never been carried out in open field. So they're not going to do it anyway. Even if it was possible for them to do it, they're not going to do it, man. But this is all just part of the plagues and the plagues that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is going to send on earth, man. All right. Since they already out here, they're just going to double and triple and make themselves more known. All right. And you see at the top this news article, it says Iran has called on Turkey to immediately end its war offensive in northeastern Syria and withdraw forces. But you know the elites is not going to let that happen because they want war. All right, so with that, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of GMO who rule and teach well and shalom to all you brothers and sisters out there pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. Kwam Yashua and the Ball.